And we were talking, by the way, leading up to New Year's, of how important it was to not drink and drive. It almost sounds like you don't have to say something like that, but lo and behold, there is an increasing amount of dollars, an estimated being spent on trying to educate the populace here in the state of Michigan. One story I read suggested that during the holidays, leading up to Friday night and Thursday night and Friday, in our state during the holidays, 30% of all the fatal accidents involve alcohol. So you're asked to, obviously, and we're not drink and drive, not only during New Year's Eve and during New Year's Day, but for that matter, anytime. And Sheriff Mark Hackel out in Macomb County is up with us early this morning talking about his campaign to have, just folks on the road, not only leading up to New Year's and New Year's Day, Sheriff Hackel, but any day of the year to phone a police organization to say, hey, you know what? I suspect someone in the vehicle ahead of me or behind me or on the side of me is not operating the vehicle properly and may be under the influence of alcohol. Is that how your campaign has been going out there in Macomb County?
Yeah, it has, Warren. Good morning. And again, I have to say, it's amazing right now watching the public's reaction to this. I think they're pretty much tired of hearing about people getting in accidents and seeing people dying as a result of it. So they have been calling us on their cell phones and identifying people that appear to be drinking and driving. What we tried to do, myself and the prosecutor, was try to promote this issue to let people know that it is okay to pick up that cell phone, and again, in a safe manner, to try to identify that and bring it to the law enforcement's attention. And I tell you, it's absolutely amazing the number of calls that we're getting in our dispatch centers and the response from law enforcement to try to intercede to get to that location and make that observation themselves firsthand before they make a traffic stop. And there has been numerous arrests as a result of it. And again, the calls are just, it's amazing to us in our dispatch centers the number of calls we're getting from people as a result of this campaign.
Getting all these calls, I suppose, Sheriff Hackel, it almost makes you stop and think, if we would have instituted maybe this plan to have the average motorist phone 911 when they suspected someone was driving under the influence, that it could have prevented that tragedy that occurred in your county this past March when, 4 teens lost their lives as a result of a drunken mother, I think it was.
Yeah, I think it was devastating to the county, in particular Lakeshore High School, where these kids went to school. Great kids from what I understand, and I have a good connection with Lakeshore High School, as a matter of fact, myself. But again, anytime something like this happens, the loss of a life, it does have an impact on a community, and you're finding that people are stepping up. We call it kind of like a neighborhood watch program, if you will. If you see something happen in your neighborhood, give us a call, let us know. The people are not shy anymore of making that call and letting us know this. So, again, we want to keep encouraging that, and I tell you, the numbers are starting to show. Even during this past New Year's holiday, I guess, if you will, there were very few arrests made, but there was a lot of law enforcement. We had the state police out there along with the sheriff's department on overtime, and again, that overtime was paid for by prior drunk drivers. Some funds that we got through the prosecutor's office helped us pay for that, so the taxpayers weren't. And we had cars out there actually driving around trying to find drunk drivers. It was very difficult to find them. I was surprised. We had a couple of arrests, but it wasn't bad at all.
That was good news. What do you make, by the way, of this technology that some states are either instituting or thinking about instituting for those who have already been convicted of drunk driving and are in their cars, and their vehicles won't start unless the breathalyzer built into the starting mechanism is activated, and only when it detects the driver behind the wheel is not inebriated does the car start?
Well, I think anything we can do, I guess as a society, to try to figure out how we curb these problems people are having with drinking and driving. It definitely becomes an annoyance, and it's a problem for people. They get upset about it as part of a punishment. But for the most part, I think what that does is it furthers that that sense for them to say, okay, I don't think I want to go through this again. I definitely don't want to be drinking and driving because of the cost associated with it, the embarrassment, and then the hassle and the harassment of having to go to classes, and then obviously having these things put in their vehicles for a year or so. So it does have an impact. It makes a difference. And I think everything we can do, I guess, as a law enforcement community, trying to curb people from making poor decisions to begin with to drink and then decide to go behind the wheel of a car. I think it's important. It's just that one level of defense for the innocent public that's out there just trying to get to and from, the locations that they're driving to.
All right, 9/11, use that.